Of Josh, if I may. So Josh, you're 7 years old, which I guess puts you in, are you in first grade?
Okay. Yeah. No, second.
Oh, you're in second grade. My apologies. Okay, second grade. Yeah. The big question, of course, is, were you making a gun out of your pastry, and did, in fact, you say bang, bang while holding your pastry up, right?
No, I was trying to shape it into a mountain, and it turned out to be a gun, and I did not say bang, bang.
So you're... Yeah.
And pretty much, I got suspended now for 2 days.
So after you made this mountain-shaped gun-like thing, what happened? Did the teacher remove you from the classroom? Was there some other thing that happened that would make her take you out of the classroom?
Actually, she had to send me up to the office, and I was up there for a little bit, and my teacher had to bring the stuff up, and then my dad came up into the school, and he had to talk to the assistant principal, and she was scared of guns, and he was in there for a little bit too, and then when they were done, we had to go home, and I showed him what the pastry looked like. It was blue, and it was a rectangle. It was a cherry one, and this one was, I don't know, 5/4 long, and
kind of looked like a gun.
Yeah, when I was done, it turned out to be a gun. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask your dad another question. There was a letter sent home from the school to families, and part of the letter reads this: one of our students, they're talking about your son here, used food to make inappropriate gestures that disrupted the class. While no physical threats were made and no one was harmed, the student had to be removed from the classroom. And they go on to say, listen, there's this code of student conduct, a handbook was sent home, can be found on the website, and you have to sign a form indicating that you understand it all, and that, frankly, as much as you may disagree with what they claim, at the end of the day, it's in the handbook and you signed it. Don't they have a point?
I would say they have a point. I mean, I also believe that, you know, there needs to be some common sense injected into, you know, such handbooks and rules and et cetera. I mean, obviously we need rules, you know, for a reason. They're there, you know, with good intentions. But I would like to think that rules are put in place to protect people, you know, from harm and danger and things of that nature. You know, do I believe that, you know, Josh should have been talked to and, you know, told, you know, hey, we shouldn't do that in school. I should have been called about it, you know. Basic things like that, you know, those steps should have been taken. I just believe that when you compare the caliber of the quote-unquote offense to the caliber of the punishment, they don't match up. And I just feel that's just a lack of common sense in conjunction with the use of the rules. And honestly, I believe there's some personal bias involved in the decision as well.
Interesting. Okay, let me open up to my panel 1 second, so stand by. You know, I think schools tend to go down this road, right, where they have this zero tolerance policy, and then they find themselves in a position where there's a kid pointing a pastry.
This is outrageous. I mean, this is the school going way overboard. I mean, it's a pastry. He's a 7-year-old kid. I mean, even if you did make it into a gun on purpose and say bang, bang, I mean, it's the fact that we're talking about this, that they're on TV because they suspended
for 2 days.
For 2 days. It's just outrageous. Our schools got to get their act together, and they can't overreact to stuff like this. I mean, it's outrageous.
We have so many problems with the educational system in America. For us to spend time grilling a 7-year-old over what he did with a pastry, it just makes me really sad.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate
about the world.
Right? Let's say the next kid is not a pastry, but now they fashioned something out of. Let me finish. Now they fashioned something out of, let's say, wood, right? And then the next kid actually goes ahead and does something a little further, right? I mean, I agree with you. It's a little ridiculous, but I think the school is trying to figure out, you know, where the line is.
That's really ridiculous. I mean, I really don't think it's going to escalate. I mean, none of the 4 food groups include metal.
Right, but
so no one's going to get hurt.
But one of the things
is zero tolerance. Zero tolerance doesn't give you any room for good judgment or for a teacher and a principal deciding that this kid didn't mean to do that. This is not happening. Use a very stern voice as a teacher. It'll never happen again. Zero tolerance gets rid of all of your wiggle room for good sense.
I got to tell you, my boys are 8. They turn everything into guns.
I don't have. Things that have been guns in my house.
Oh my gosh, everything. Like things that you couldn't think would ever be a gun would be a gun. Let me ask you a question back to Josh.
Spanish and French and things like that.
So, Josh, I want to ask you our final question this morning. You've been out of school for a day, I think, right? Now you've got another day of suspension. You know, are you upset about it? Have you learned your lesson, and what do you take away from all this?
Well, I do draw tanks in school, and I do draw a lot of stuff, and I do like guns, but I don't make guns out of food and stuff. When I'm trying to create stuff like drawing, I do not try to draw inappropriate stuff or stuff that isn't inappropriate. But like trucks, helicopters and planes, I draw a lot of stuff.
Like to draw. Well, we were showing a little bit of your artwork earlier, and you're a good artist. Listen, my boys are in 2nd grade too, so I got to tell you, Dad, I feel your pain on this one. Thank you for talking with us this morning. It'll be interesting.